So, welcome to my new studio. It's not built yet, obviously, but I had to kind of wait out my own creative mind. I had to, it was pretty scary because I wasn't sure if it was ever going to come back, but I had to just disconnect. I was a stay at home dad for the past 90 days. And finally, I had a vision of it might be cool if I set up a camera in this corner, have the stuff in the background, all of a sudden I had a vision, and I'm back. I'm excited to be here. I have a lot that I want to talk about in the next several videos. So I want to be hitting it pretty hard. So obviously you don't have to watch every video, but I'm just going to start putting stuff out there because one of the questions is why have I not been giving it my absolute best effort? And I think it's really about fear, and maybe it's fear of success, maybe it's fear of failure somehow. Kind of stepping into a spot where you're not really sure how it's going to go. But you don't learn anything staying still. You have to actually start rolling down the road before you can make any sort of analysis. So that's where I'm at. I got to start rolling again. And so for you creatively, maybe you can resonate with this, where you have to just start again. It doesn't do you any good to do, just a stagnant kind of approach where you're being paralyzed by analyzing too much. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Man, so much has happened. And I'll have to kind of go over it with you in a couple different videos. But the coolest thing that happened is I got slapped down really hard at Blackbird Studio, and I wanted to get these guys' take on something, and they just slapped it down so hard, and it really exposed the difference of people like you and I and people in a studio that, they literally had at least 2 or 3 251s and at least a couple C12s. They were freaking loaded. And I asked why, a certain mic and a certain application doesn't sound good. And, they were just like, well, that sounds great to me, and it's just like, okay, I'm not gonna like escalate this, but it really, it was like I was a fish out of water. They don't get it. They don't get it, So I want to be diving into that in the next couple of videos, and I have some footage from that too. So that'll be really interesting. Then, man, so much has happened. But in general, I really haven't been able to do a whole lot on this building because I've been busy taking care of kids, and it has been so hot inside the building that I really can only use it at night or early in the morning. And that's kind of when it hit me of like, I could still do something at night or early in the morning, like why don't I just come and set up a camera? So anyways, man, it's good to be back. So I recorded something over at my parents' house with that room that's like 20 feet high, and I just kind of quickly recorded some drums. And I pulled it up just to kind of see. And man, it sounds good. And there's like a half a dozen issues I could pull out. But I think for this video, kind of being an update video, I really just want to pull up the room mics here and just kind of focus your attention on that. I think these are kind of some of the coolest sounding room mics that I've ever gotten. And I think it has to do with the low end. It's counterintuitive. You hear about people high pass the room mics, but this low end is really cool, okay? Check this out. You see that? That's just raw. That's raw room mixed with, mixed drums, but it's raw room. Now I'll go ahead and solo it for you, so you can actually hear what it sounds like. So what's happening here is I have the Signal Art U47 reference. I forget what he calls it, but it's the one that I've shown on Creative Sound Lab before, and it has great low end. It doesn't poop out. It's such a great mic. If you're in the market for a boutique mic that honestly is 4 times as good as the price, because it's not going through the distributor and through the retail pipelines, well, you can buy it from a mic builder directly. You see this I don't know if you could hear that, but this building just has literally holes, under the trim. It's not even sealed or anything. But you can buy a mic from a mic builder, and Signal Art. Okay, look it up, Signal Art, and it sounds fantastic. So, I think like the price on this mic was like $2,000, but like seriously, it's worth 10. Great mic. Yeah, so this 47 is actually it's almost kind of close to that ride cymbal in the room. It's not like a crotch mic where it's like between the two toms and it's like over the kick, but it's actually a little bit further out, maybe 3 feet out from the kick. Okay, so it's a lot closer than you think of as a room mic, but that's why it works. It's a little bit heavy on that low end, heavy on those toms. Oh, man, it just sounds so cool. And this is raw. Okay. So I was talking to one of my coaching clients, and he was like, why is it that everybody wants to slam their room mics? Well, you don't have to, actually. You really don't. In fact, you probably shouldn't. The more you slam your room mics, the more cymbal issues you're going to have. Okay? You want to treat the transient of the room mics is really what you want. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that I'm not causing more issues for myself. And, I'm actually, just trying to get it so it just is jumping with the reduction on the snare and maybe some of the toms or whatever. Well, I guess for here, it'd be kick as well. But I'm doing a slow attack, kind of a fast release, but, not really. And I'm just trying to shape subtly, 2-to-1, and with some saturation. I'm trying to shape the articulation of that room mic, if you will. So if I exaggerate the effect, just kind of give it a little more juice, you can hear that attack is coming through more. And I'm just trying to make sure I don't completely obliterate the transient here. Okay, this is part of what really adds up. Little here, little there, really adds up to be the drum sound. It's not just from one mic. In fact, even hi-hat can change the way the snare sounds, right? Because it's all bleeding together. So in the case with like low end, for example, in that hi-hat snare scenario, that low end, it's subtly affecting the room mics. It's subtly affecting the low end of the kick, the snare, the toms. Everything affects everything else. So we're slowly adding in some stuff here. So we don't want to completely kill it. Okay, we can go a little at a time. So if you noticed, I went to a faster attack, and when I went to the faster attack, I was able to grab more of that available kick drum, and it compressed more. So I had to compensate by lowering the input, or basically raising that threshold so it compresses a little bit less. So change one thing, move another, so on. Okay, let's see what else I was playing around with here. I don't even know what I was doing. Wonder if I put this ahead of the compressor. Yeah, kind of a fattening up effect. Kind of compresses it a little bit. And then with the compressor, though, we actually are adding back in transient. So taking out the transient a touch, fattening it up, compressing, then further kind of controlling it and adding some sharpness to that attack. I mean, not that you even have to do that. I'm just kind of playing around at this point, but that was my thinking for swapping this ahead of the compression. And that saturation sounds awesome. Okay, let's hear it in context. Yeah, it's just a whole nother animal, you know? I mean, if you don't want it to be too crazy, you can kind of keep it where it's subtle. But then if you really want to push it and it starts to get kind of an issue with the bass drum kind of dribble from the beater. So, I'm not the best at keeping that from happening. But it starts to add up, right? And so it kind of becomes an issue in sloppy low end. But man, you can push this and it still sounds cool. It's really cool. So, kind of the takeaway here is that everything adds together. If you're not sure, check it. I mean, heck, like I will often check the phase on the room mics. Let's take this one out and just go with the traditional kind of approach. These are room mics, probably about, 8 feet out. And it sounds a little further out because I believe this is a Bloomline R88A, so it's kind of getting everything in every direction. But let's try flipping the room mics and see how it affects the fullness of the drum kit. man, that sounds cool, you know? So this Signal Art 47 clone is kind of just mostly that low end. You put it in, and all of a sudden you just get this really nice low end. Anyways, so yeah, this is kind of an update video, but kind of I wanted to give you something cool at the same time. I don't like to do just talking videos. I want to give you some value. So yeah, hey, we're just at the time of this filming, we're hitting 70,000 subscribers. Super cool. Help me get to 100, okay? I'd love to hit 100K. I've been doing this for like 8 years. I really want to meet that goal. If you think I've earned your subscription, go ahead, subscribe, okay? That's, I think, the first time I've ever asked people to subscribe. But if you think I've earned it, then do it for me. Okay, let me know if you have any comments, questions. I think I'll be doing like a Q&A video to kind of do a lot of the comments because there's so many that kind of come in at a time. But drop one below if you have a comment or question. Talk to you soon.